I'm going to read this book this year. Or if it never stops. We've got 10 minutes for this thing to land on an option. I don't think I'm getting one. I don't think I'm getting an answer. The fuck is that? Guild? A gilded cage is still a prison? I've never heard of this. Let me go look it up. So the Fae abandoned this world to us, and the ones with power rule. Gold floors, gold walls, gold furniture, gold clothes, and high bell in the castle built into the frozen mountains. Everything is made of gold. Even me? King Midas rescued me, dug me out of the slums, and placed me on a pedestal. I'm called his precious. I'm favored. I'm the woman he gold touched to show everyone that I belong to him, to show how powerful he is. He gave me protection, and I gave him my heart. And even though I don't leave the confines of the palace, I'm safe until war comes to the kingdom and a deal is struck. Suddenly my trust is broken, my love is challenged, and I realize that everything I thought I knew about Midas might be wrong, because these bars I'm kept in, no matter how gilded, are still just a cage. The myth of King Midas reimagined. This compelling adult fantasy series is addictive as it is unexpected. King Midas? But I'm also confused because it says he turned her to gold, but is she's still like alive? I thought that when King Midas turned somebody into gold, they were like an inanimate object now. They were like literally a gold statue, but apparently not. So it has mostly like 4 and 3-star reviews, and the first one, that sounds like my worst nightmare. Should I read it? I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna lie, when I filmed that TikTok, I didn't really actually have any intention of reading that book. Like, after I saved it to my drafts, I was like, okay, no, whatever. But then, like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, but, like, that could be kind of fun to see what TikTok gave me, and to see if it was worth it. I don't think it really will be. And, like, look, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't have high hopes. And I wish I did, but I don't. When I downloaded it on Kindle, it did say, it had a little trigger warning, including what they refer to as non-consensual sex, which I really don't like, because it's literally just essay. Like, why don't we use the actual terms to define it? Like, there's no such thing as non-consensual sex. Like, I'm just hoping, actually, I don't even know what to hope for in this scenario. I really don't. I'm gonna read it. I just bought it on Kindle the other day, because I really didn't want to spend money on owning a physical copy. It didn't feel worth it, so it's on my computer. I'm gonna read it, and hopefully it isn't terrible. And I'm gonna start it at some point in my day-to-day, so I will let you know what I'm thinking as I'm thinking it, and I'm not going to include any spoilers till the very end of this video. So I'll like include a final section with all of my thoughts on all of the happenings. But before that, everything before that is going to just be like emotions. No spoilers. Wish me luck, please. Okay, so yesterday I only read the first 2 chapters and I already have thoughts. I've like barely read anything and I already have thoughts. Okay, so first of all, the way that this book opens is so gross and really set the scene for me of how just terrible this man is. It's bad. It is really, they have a very gross dynamic and I don't love it. He treats her like absolute garbage, believe it or not, even though he's like, you're my precious, you're my prized possession, first of all. She lives in a cage. And like, I already knew that before I started it, but like the whole concept of it, like seeing it play out, seeing her like live her daily life in a cage is just so weird and so terrible. And she's got this like certain level of Stockholm syndrome where like she clearly has resentment for the king and for her situation and everything, but she judges herself for having those feelings. Like she just keeps going like, why do I not love this more? Why am I not happier? Why am I so unhappy? I'm supposed to love this. I'm supposed to be grateful. What's wrong with me? So she's turning it into her problem as if she hasn't literally been enslaved as a toy. obviously, yeah, like there are worse situations, but I don't think that comparing other people's situations is necessarily the way to go, because this still sucks and I still want her to get out of it. Also, she does mention for a second a concern about becoming an inanimate object, which was my big question, like how is a person gold? And she describes her skin as being gold, so is it like just her like outer shell? What's going on with her internal organs? Like, and I don't know if she meant like literally become an object or figuratively become an object, but if I were her, I would be genuinely actively worrying about that. I'm yapping way too much for somebody who has read literally nothing. I don't like it. I don't like their anyway, I'm about to go on like a 3-hour car ride with my family, and I will not be driving, so I will be reading. And so hopefully I'll come out of that trip with some thoughts in my noggin. Okay, so I read the first 10 chapters, and I have to say, this is frustrating me. This is incredibly sad and just like depressing. The two main things, A, is obviously her relationship with Midas, because obviously he's an a-hole, but then as he's an a-hole, you learn that he used to not be, and they used to have like a relationship that was like actually a connection, and now this dynamic has completely changed into her being an object. It's so depressing, and it is like awful. And then the sexism, the misogyny is absurd. It is over the top. It is. Do y'all like misogyny? Is this like a thing that people like in their books? Because I don't. I just don't get it. It's so uncomfortable, and it's like frustrating me to a level where I'm just like, girl, take those ribbons on your back and fucking smack them all in the face. Like, those things are weapons. Use them. That's how I feel right now. And now we're getting into the essay territory. So I'm not excited for that in chapter 11, but in the first 10 chapters, I'm really just like really confused, really not happy with this. Like, what is gonna happen? What is like this like plot really gonna be? I'm like 31% through, and I don't really know what's going on. It's really, really depressing. It's really frustrating me. Okay, so I've officially finished the first 20 chapters, and Midas is obviously super like manipulative and materialistic, and just like don't love this guy. And it is so frustrating to read our main character think that this relationship she has with him is love, because she quite literally, like, she hasn't been outside in 10 years. Girlie has not been outside for 10 years. Like, do you think that the person who loves you would not allow you to get a single breath of fresh air for 10 years? No. And also, he uses her as a pawn to get what he wants from other kingdoms, and doesn't tell her that he's doing that, and then expects her to be chill about it, expects her to forgive him, and then is low-key turning it on her and being like, well, why didn't you trust me? And it's like, because she was literally 10 seconds away from being assaulted. That's why. And I really, really hope that at the end of this book there's kind of like a message about like abuse, and realizing the trauma bond that she has with him, and the way that he is treating her as wrong, and realizes that it was not love. If not, I'm gonna be pretty peeved. But anyway, I also find the fact that like he didn't even make her like an outdoor cage or any kind of outdoor protected area, which even in that case would still be wrong, but it couldn't be outside. Like, he couldn't give her any outdoor kind of space. Like, that's not possible. He would have had to have come up with something. Anyway, so I am about 56% of the way through, and I'm just hoping that things get a little bit more action-packed, because right now it's just sucks a lot, you know, reading about abuse and misogyny and SA and like all of these terrible things. Like, I'm ready for something interesting and like impactful and like exciting. I really like Digby and I really like Sale. Those are two cool characters, and I like Oren's, like, she's funny. Like, she's got a cute little like banter going, but not in like a cringy way. Like, I low-key like her dialogue, because I feel like sometimes when authors try and write like goofy, silly, fun ladies, they end up making it just like a little too over the top. This is okay. I also don't really understand how this like government works. There's like 6 kingdoms. Midas is 6. The folk guy was 5. King Rot is 4. And we don't know who the other 3 are. I don't really get how that works. But we know that Midas is scheming. I know there's supposed to be like war happening. So that usually means that there's going to be something exciting going down. So I'm hoping for this. And then also, if there is like a romance with Sale, I'll be pretty happy. But also, if he's just a friend, that's good too. That's good for her too. And I also hope she makes friends with like a woman, because she needs that. And I'm like, she's literally just pinning all of the female characters against each other, and it's really starting to frustrate me. Like, give her one female friend, please. Anyway, yeah, that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like, so far this book has not been particularly like joyful to read. Like, it hasn't been bad. Oh, and also, hold on, chapter 20 ends weird. Okay, so there's a storm, and she says, outside the storm seethes like a warning. I'll realize too late that I should have heeded it. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's very mysterious. I really don't know. I'm not sure where this story's going anymore. Well, I mean, there is I feel like the plot is just starting to really get chugging along now that she's like journeying, you know, because Midas is taking her with him because she's his precious and he can't go anywhere without her, I guess. At least not in desperate war times such as these. So I guess we'll see what happens. And I wonder what the storm's warning is. Okay, I made it through chapter 30 and things are getting quite a bit more intense. There's some stuff I said earlier that can be ignored. I'm 78% of the way through, and things are getting intense. This I never would have expected. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, obviously, like, she's gonna be fine. Also, I tried looking up some like fan art, and I keep seeing this guy named Rip. What kind of name? It's like, but I don't think that he's in this book, because this is like a 6-book long series, and yeah, I don't know, but I keep seeing somebody named Rip. Who's Rip? Anyway, sorry, that's a little off topic, but yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna finish this book tonight, to be honest, because it's pretty quick. It's pretty easy to read, so. Things are getting even more intense. There's like other people getting involved. Like, things are picking up a lot, but I'm almost done. So I think I'm probably gonna end up reading the next book. I swear to God, if I read this whole series, it's like genuinely just because of like this curiosity. We're learning more and more about like how Midas's power works and how that impacts what's her face, or Auren. All I can say, there's a lot happening, and we're figuring out like the history, the backstory. I'm getting ready. I'm preparing. There's still a lot of essay stuff going on, which I don't love personally. I feel like it's not that like I think that it shouldn't be there at all. Like, I feel like it can show a lot about like it can be used in like a way that's useful to the story, but it's a little overdone. Whatever. Okay, so I have had a crazy a crazy past few days. So I finished Guild, but I did more than just finish Guild. I read Glint, Gleam, and now I'm on Glow. And I sound crazy, I really do, but let me explain. I have never... this series is so easy to read. It is so easy to just fly through. I read Glint in one day, and then I read Gleam the next day. I'm pretty sure Gleam was like almost 700 pages long, and I read it in one day. Like it was easy. And I'm only gonna talk about Guild, okay? But I need to go onto my Kindle and see where Guild ended off, because I don't want to like be talking about the wrong thing. Oh my god, that's it? Oh my gosh, I thought that so much more happened in this book, but I was wrong. Okay, so Guild. It's a little bit, not much happens if I'm gonna be honest. Like both Guild and honestly most of Glint are like very much so like a build up to things that are actually going to be interesting, which is like, you know, it's good to have a slow build up for some parts, but I wish that other parts of the plot had gone faster. But whatever. I don't even know where to begin. I gave this book 2 stars, and I gave it 2 stars because not much happens. I gave it 2 stars because I was like, because parts of it are just gross and are just like pointless. However, it was still entertaining enough. Like it wasn't terrible, and it does leave you wondering what's going to happen next, which is why I ended up reading the second book. And then the second book was a little bit better, which is why I read the third book. I gotta say, TikTok did give me something. TikTok really did give me something. TikTok gave me something that has kind of been my like binge read for the past few days, and it's been fun. It's been a fun time, you know. It's entertaining to say the least, and it's just so crazy that doing that TikTok filter has led me here to this. I would have never in a million years read this if I hadn't chosen to do that stupid TikTok filter one day. And I wasn't even planning on actually going through with it either. So yeah, that's how that went. Would I recommend it? Maybe. If you're not like super picky about like great world building and like super perfect plots and characters and everything, like, and also if you look at the trigger warnings and you're okay with it, sure. I mean, if you're somebody who just likes fun books and likes a good like suspenseful and entertaining plot lines, or if you're looking for like a good series to binge, sure, I would recommend this. Yeah, like, because if you just read the first book, like, it's not gonna work for you. It's not gonna work for you. Like, this is a series and it has to be, or else none of it really works. So it's so hard to only talk about the first book. So yeah, at the end of this book, we do meet that Rip guy that I was talking about earlier, but he, like, you don't really meet him. He's just there. Spoiler warning now. So Oren is traveling to the Fifth Kingdom because Midas is going there to take it over after killing the king of the Fifth Kingdom. And on the path there, the entire group of them, all of the king's royal, I don't like the fact that she calls them saddles. I think that's so gross, but his sex workers and like some of the guards are all kidnapped by snow pirates. I don't know what snow pirates are. I don't really know what that means, but they're snow pirates and they're evil. And then they are saved by the army of the Fourth Kingdom. Or they're more so transferred. I don't know if saved is the right term to use for this ending, but the Fourth Kingdom comes and they're like, hey, we'll take them over for you, like, whatever. That happens, but before that, the captain of the snow pirates wants to assault Oren and this other girl named Rissa. he does that to Rissa, which is the worst scene in this entire book, and I think was completely overdone and unnecessary. But then Oren turns him to solid gold. She turns him to solid gold because she can, apparently. And so Rissa's like, oh my, like what? And she's like, just don't tell anyone, like just don't tell anyone that I can do this. I lost a nail. Okay. So then they throw him out the window and then they leave. They dip. So they go to go with the 4th army, and then King Midas is mad because his favored is gone, and he's like really peeved. He's really pissed off, and or he's gonna fight together. My favored, my gilded, my precious. All right, thank you for watching this. If you did, like for real. Goodbye.